You have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut.
Clovercrest Media Group presents a CMG podcast, Keys to the City.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know.
Crossed up by Kobe, little floater to Shaq, and then Shaq goes like this, and the rest is history. Pay attention. Don't tell me what to do, devil woman. Speaking of those Lakers, hold on. But I didn't make I said Denver's gonna win.
Yeah, you did. You said that.
There's no other show like that.
Clovercrest is doing great things right now.
Streaming everywhere.
Sanderson looking in, zone for a pass. He's looking for King, intercepted. He's going to go down the right side. Lawrence down to the 20, 30, down to the 40. He might go all the way.
3rd down and 7. Good jump off the line by Strahan, who gets the sack. Pressure from Thomas off the edge. Eli Manning stays on his feet. Airs it out down the field. It is caught by Tyree.
4-man rush. Eli throwing into traffic on the sideline. They're going to rule it a catch by Manning.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Drawing About the G-Men, the Giants Football Podcast. I'm Big Jace, joined by Joe Guire and Sean Scanlon. Kingsley will be joining us here shortly. And we're going to change things up because, we had the big game last week. We're not going to start off talking about the Giants. Let's just recap. The Super Bowl, the Rams get the win, beat the Bengals 23-20. So many ups and downs. That whole game felt like a roller coaster. Obviously, the Rams coming out strong. The Bengals then struggling, and then the Rams getting it. The Bengals getting off to a slow start, getting it going in the second and third, and then the Rams closing it out. Joe, what did you think of the game?
Well, I thought a few things about the game. Number one, it was a great game. I really enjoyed it. It was definitely one of the more entertaining Super Bowls. I always like when they're close. I think you're going to hear it. And I've seen it over the last couple of days. If you're a Bengals fan, you're quick to point out, the at the end of the game, when Aaron Donald was assaulting Joe Burrow, it looked like Jamar Chase had shaken Jalen Ramsey off, and was wide open down the field. But I think that just highlights what an amazing job. That defense took over like midway through the third quarter and were relentless the rest of the way. I think it was like 7 sacks on 22 snaps, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I believe that was a number. Look, Joe, I say this all the time, and you guys give me crap about it, but you got to score touchdowns. When you're in the red zone, you got to score touchdowns, especially in a game like this against a defense like this. Not scoring really did hurt the Bengals, having to settle for field goals. And look, Matthew Stafford, I'm not ready to put Matthew Stafford in the Hall of Fame. All right, maybe someday.
What?
Still got listen. Dude, I hear so many people like, well, he's done as much as Favre and Rodgers has. And it's like, well, calm down. This guy's still got a long ways to go in his career. I think he's got a lot more winning to do. And I think he would need to do it, honestly, at this point, despite having just won a Super Bowl.
That's crazy. He's a Hall of Famer. Look at what he's done. I mean, in college, he made AJ Green.
No.
Then Calvin Johnson. He got Marvin Jones Jr. and Kenny Golladay big paydays last offseason. Now
that doesn't make you a Hall of Famer.
Cooper Kupp. This dude is just making beastly wide receivers.
That doesn't make you a Hall of Famer. I would say this. Listen, if somebody on here, and it's happened before, and it's happened on Keys to the City, and when people say Pat Mahomes is a Hall of Famer, really? Right now? He retired tomorrow, he's going in the Hall of Fame? No. Nope. Got a long way to go before we get there. We got to stop crowding everybody like for Canton after like 2 seconds. Because tell you what.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Going there.
Right. Sean, am I right? If the Bengals pulled it off, would we be talking about whether Joe Burrow's on his way to Canton and if he's the best quarterback in the league?
Chase would.
Stop it.
I would.
I know he would.
But that's different. Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are still young. This is the crowning moment for Matthew Stafford.
I was alive.
He had to deal with
I was alive when Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl, and I assumed Dan Marino would be back year after year after year. Never happened again. So listen, stop cashing checks for these guys. Okay. Look at the start Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs had this year. It was looking kind of iffy there for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, right.
Winning in the NFL, it cannot be taken for granted. You don't just show up and win football games. It doesn't work that way. And so 5 years in the league, you're not in the Hall of Fame yet. 12 years in the league, you finally had a good season with a good team. You won a Super Bowl. I don't know that puts you in Canton yet. The Rams window is, I would say, about 3-4 more seasons. And he's going to be the quarterback there for the duration of that time. If he can take them back, if he can have a season and not lead the league in interceptions, that would go a long way. You're going to need a winning record to get into the Hall of Fame. He doesn't have one. So you see the problem here?
Bo Jackson? Not Bo Jackson.
Hold on.
Barry Sanders, does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, Joe?
No.
Barry Sanders does not. Okay. All right.
No, Barry Sanders? Does Barry Sanders deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? Yes. Why? He is in the Hall of Fame.
It's the same situation. Yeah, he was dying in Detroit.
Wait, Jace, I got you.
I mean, Matthew Stafford is putting up monster. He put up monster numbers in Detroit as well.
How many Pro Bowls he been to? How many Pro Bowls? How many league MVPs? How many anything has that guy won? Nothing.
Because was in Detroit.
Yeah, I'm talking about personal accomplishments. He has none.
Yeah, he was the quarterback for the two leading receivers and
he had one of the best wide receivers in the game for years. Of course,
he's making all these guys look great.
You think he made Megatron?
No, I'm not saying that, but he was a lot better than he did. Look at AJ Green. What did AJ Green do
for the Calvin Johnson, for Christ's sake?
Look at the paydays he gave Marvin Jones Jr. and Kenny Golladay last year. He puts up. He makes these guys better. No one thought Cooper Kupp would be what he was this year.
When your team is only down by 20, you're throwing the football 45 times a game. Yeah. You're going to have numbers.
Okay, and he wasn't down by 20 all season this season, and he was able to lead them and win games.
And he still led the league in interceptions. Despite all the talent around him, still led the league in interceptions.
And he won a Super Bowl.
Hey, let's not forget, in the NFC Championship game, how close they were to blowing that one on what would have been a Matthew Stafford pick. So, boop. Sorry.
Okay. I get that. And
not even MVP of this game. Okay. Not even MVP. You know he's the first quarterback to throw 3 touchdown passes for the winning team and not be the MVP. Did you know that? That's the first time that's ever happened. That's how disrespected Matthew Stafford is. And the reason there's no respect on that name is because people like you were like, he was so good there. Yeah, 4-12 year after year. He's great. A lot of the yards that the guy put up are junk yards.
Plain and simple. Okay? Let's take a look. Listen, take a look at the top 10 list all time for completions, for yards, for touchdowns. It's everybody that was the 2000 and on. You won't see a single name before that. So let's also not pretend that this is new. Quarterbacks throwing for 4,000 yards. This is a product of the game that they're playing currently. This is not indicative of like to go back and say that some of these guys are better than a Jim Plunkett or a Ken Stabler. It was a different time. They were playing a different game. Okay? So it's easy to look at the numbers and be like, oh, Matthew Stafford's definitely. You have to have done things. Pro Bowls, All-Pro, All-Decade team, 75th anniversary team. There's been so many things out there that he could have won, and he hasn't won anything. One Pro Bowl. Stop it.
All right. I will agree with you, though. I mean, he hasn't necessarily looked bad. And I think really the big deal with the Super Bowl, I think it was more so not necessarily Matthew Stafford beating the Bengals. Is more so, I think, the coaching aspect and Sean McVay. But, I mean, you can't he was still putting
I love
up
Matthew
numbers.
Stafford. That said, I think he's fantastic.
He is great. I do think he is a Hall of Famer. But, I mean, moving on from this topic, because we can go on about this.
I want Sean to say something about it. I think Sean disagrees with you completely as well.
How do you feel about Matt Stafford Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the middle of where you guys are. I agree with Joe that he's not a Hall of Famer right now. I think that he still needs to add a little bit more to his resume. Like you said, only one Pro Bowl. This is his first Super Bowl. He threw 2 interceptions in the game, the reason why he wasn't MVP. So there's definitely, and like you said in the NFC Championship game, if Jaquiski Tartt catches that interception, 49ers are probably playing on Sunday. So I agree that he has amassed a lot of stats over his career, and most of it is in junk time. But I also think that, the reason that he only has one Pro Bowl is because that he's on the Lions and he's been on losing teams. He definitely could have more if you look at some of the numbers that he's had, and he's been in a generation of QBs where, like you said, the numbers are inflated a lot. So it's kind of tough to get that. But I definitely do think that he's on track, because if you look at the NFC the next couple of years, I mean, it's the Rams for the taking, I think. If, you get Brady gone from the Bucs, what do you think the Giants are coming, Zay? No, but and Aaron Rodgers, even if he goes back to the Packers, I mean, they've shown time and time again that, they just fall in the playoffs. So I definitely think there's a track for the Rams to get back there. So if Matthew Stafford could get one more, if he can add a Super Bowl MVP and then, keep amassing those numbers, he'll probably be in top 10 in, completions, yards, touchdowns by the time his career is done. I definitely do think he's on track to get there. So I'm kind of in the middle of where you guys are. I agree he's not there yet, but I definitely could see him getting there one day, because I think there's more winning to be done in LA the next couple of years, and I think his numbers are going to keep going up, especially with Cooper Kupp there, Robert Woods coming back from injury if they re-sign OBJ after he comes back from injury. So I think that he will be there eventually one day, but I do agree that I don't think I would put him in the Hall of Fame as of right now.
Sean, I mean, you bring up the more winning they have to do. I mean, they are going to take a little bit of a loss here in the offseason. You mentioned OBJ, possible free agency with his injury. Who knows what's going to happen there? You also got Von Miller is going to be a free agent. Things are looking like Andrew Whitworth might retire after this season. So, Zay, do you agree with Sean? Can the Rams continue to win? Can they get back to a Super Bowl, or is this going to be a peak for them?
Yeah, I think it's a peak for them. I think they'll make a lot of playoff runs, but I don't think they'll ever win a Super Bowl again. I'm sorry to say that. When you look at just in general, even when they've had great teams, you're talking about the first Super Bowl. You have to almost go back to 2000 when they won, and they didn't get back there until 2018 against Brady. So it could be a while. So I think this is one of those weird situations where, I mean, the league has changed. We've seen it continue to change. They've added playoff teams. And when you continue to change this format and we continue to see these seasons continue to get longer, I think it's going to continue to get harder for teams to win, and win back-to-back is going to be even harder. Now you're talking about more games than a regular 16-season game. So, and then, like I said, you add the extra playoff team into the mix, it becomes a lot harder. You're talking about every game really matters now because there's only one bye. If you don't get that one bye, you're basically playing that whole playoff. So I don't think any team really is going to be repeating for a while, but I definitely don't think it's going to be the Rams. It's got too many holes. There's so much unsure. We don't know if Aaron Donald's retiring. There's rumors that he might not. I don't know what the situation is going to be. If he updated, I haven't heard anything. So I think they have a lot of questions marks, and to be like, oh yeah, they're going back next year. No, that's just, it's ridiculous. This isn't a 16-game season, and you can almost guarantee 2 buys. This is a whole new animal.
I think the loss of Tom Brady, I think the idea that Aaron Rodgers might move to the AFC, and I think when you look around at the division they're already in, you look out west where Russ might be on the move, Garoppolo's probably gone. I just, to me, the NFC, and Sean, you kind of alluded to this, I think the NFC is going to get immensely weaker going into next season. And I do think a team, because this Rams team, and Zay, you're right, look, they got to get a lot of guys to change their salaries up here. They got to do a little bit of the restructuring to make this all work. But I think the guys will want to do that because, I mean, look, I think we're going to be able to look back on this Rams team and talk about, you're talking about a team with probably 4, 5, 6 Hall of Famers on it. You don't get that a lot. This team was really special, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So I do think the path for the Rams to, again, be competitive, it's all going to really matter about whether Matthew Stafford can continue to elevate his game, because he barely was able to do it this year. Will he be more comfortable a year from now? Maybe. Could it be worse? Maybe. We'll see.
They'll make the playoffs. I don't think they'll win the Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
No, I agree with what you're saying there, Joe. I do think the NFC is looking like it's about to get weaker, and they can take control. I don't necessarily listen. Let me.
But wait, how do y'all see this?
What do you mean? Because Brady just left, and now
again, you got
Aaron Rodgers, who might go somewhere else. You got a lot of movement happening.
The Cowboys will always be the Cowboys.
You have rumors of Deshaun Watson going to Minnesota. If Deshaun Watson is anything like he was, and he fits into Minnesota and that works, that team could become immensely better. Because I don't ever believe in Kirk Cousins.
I'm hearing.
Yeah, did Adam Schefter tweet something? I didn't
look
see.
it up.
I've heard
he is picked as a possible destination. He's picked 2 possible destinations: Tampa and the Vikings. Those are 2 places that he wants to be.
Did all those lawsuits get dropped yet?
Apparently.
Maybe.
I don't know what's going on with that.
No, there's still 10 criminal investigations by the Houston police, still 22 lawsuits to deal with. Your fantasy about Deshaun Watson doing anything and going anywhere.
Crazy if you think, I guarantee you he will be playing this September. I promise you.
Dude, you know how many people were like, you're crazy.
I guarantee you.
Cosby's going to jail.
I guarantee you. I guarantee you. I didn't say that last year. I didn't say that last year. No,
yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Listen, I mean, no. Enough with the Deshaun Watson. If you want to talk about a quarterback moving, talk about Russ. Talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Fields can get better in Chicago.
Didn't even touch the field this year.
Talk about Fields can get better in Chicago. About him? You don't know where Jimmy Garoppolo is going. We know he could be a capable quarterback if he goes somewhere.
Did you really just say the Bears are going to be a contender?
If he improves, we know the 49ers could be a threat. So I'm not seeing the NFC getting worse. I think they're going to improve.
Listen.
I'm not going there.
I don't know about that.
I'm not going there.
Let's get back to this game. I will say the Rams, I think the one thing that the Rams, the real reason why they could continue to be a force in the NFC is Sean McVay. They're going to have the best coach. Yes. I mean, that's the reason they won.
If Aaron Donald doesn't get that sack, you have a receiver streaking down the line. Ramsey's on the floor. The game's over. Don't tell me Sean McVay to do anything special.
I thought Matthew Stafford was the reason they won, and then you said
I never said that.
Now it's Sean McVay. I mean,
Aaron Donald doesn't get that sack. This game
we're giving this a shared win.
Yes, it's a team sport. But all right, talked a lot about the Rams, and deservingly so. They won the Super Bowl. I think we touched every aspect there. Sean, let's take a look at the Bengals now. I mean, the AFC is very, very tough. Joe Burrow has come out. I mean, he is one of those names at the top. But look at the rest of the quarterbacks. Got Josh Allen. You got Patrick Mahomes still there. Justin Herbert might everyone expects him to take a leap and crawl into that situation. I don't know about that, but what do the Bengals necessarily need to do to get back to the Super Bowl and get back and win next time?
I mean, you got to go with the obvious answer with that offensive line. If they had an offensive line, I mean, with the receivers that he has and Joe Burrow, even being able to evade in the pocket, if he doesn't have 4 guys coming at him, they could definitely make some moves there. Because you could tell that it was just a nightmare from day one. The Titans getting 9 sacks in the game they played against them, and then the Rams defensive line just taking over the game in the second half of this game. It's tough to see because this Bengals defense really came to play, especially in the playoffs. They were really opportunistic. They got takeaways. Even they were getting pressure with the quarterback, and then with all the weapons they have on the offense, it's really just this O-line that tore them down all season. The left side of their line is okay with Quentin Spain and what's his name, the dude from Alabama, number 73. I don't know his name, but I think that they're really. That's the best side of the line. The right side of the line definitely has to improve because they just got absolutely terrorized all game. So they definitely have to improve upon that because, like I said, they have the weapons. They have a really young team. Joe Burrow is a winning quarterback. He's shown that from LSU all the way up until now. So I think that that's the big thing. And on the defense side of the ball, their secondary has to get better. Eli Apple, I hate that dude. I'm so glad that the game-winning touchdown was on him. Couldn't ask for a better ending right there. But other than Mike Hilton, who's their slot cornerback, they need better outside corners. Their safeties are all right. So I think that, the offensive line especially, and then the cornerback position is where they got to go next. But they do have good young talent in place. Zach Taylor is a young head coach who will probably be there for a long time. So those are the two next big things. But like you said, it's going to be tough in the AFC. I think the Rams definitely have a better chance to get back to the Super Bowl just based upon the AFC with all the young quarterbacks, like you said. The Bengals had a great run. They definitely could do it again, but I think it's just a lot more competitive on that side. Jonah Williams, let's do that.
Jonah Williams, yeah. And I mean, you bring up Zach Taylor being there for a long time, just signed an extension. Zay, I mean, you think the NFC is going to get better? So do you think the Bengals have a better shot than the Rams to get back to the Super Bowl then?
Oh, no. Of course, no. This will never happen probably ever again in our lifetime. No, just because they're the Bengals. Not even because I don't like Joe Burrow, just because they're the Bengals and that franchise is it just is what it is. They're just like one of those franchises we don't expect to ever be there. But if I'm being serious, I do think a lot of other quarterbacks in that division, I think we'll see a lot of progression from players like Trevor Lawrence, who did have a bad year last year, but I think next year when he gets in a more stable situation, gets players around him, they get, players back from injury and everything, I think you'll start to see him improve, and then that's going to boost competition around him. I hate to even say it, I think Zach Wilson may even improve next year. You started to see improvement in him at the end of the season. Look, I'm not jumping on that bandwagon yet. Maybe one more year. But what I'm saying is, like Sean said, the AFC has a lot of talent, a lot of young talent that's getting better. And for me to see the Bengals win it again, I don't see it happening. You're talking about, especially in their division, you're talking about the Ravens going to be back in healthy next year. You're talking about Lamar Jackson, who probably should have had his team in the playoffs, but we know how that situation unfolded with Joe's favorite coach. So hopefully they'll right that ship next year. The Steelers, I think, if they could find a quarterback, that team, we know how their defense is. If they could just find a decent quarterback, someone who could just manage things, they could put themselves in a really good position. So I think it gets a lot harder for the Bengals in the AFC. And I probably agree with Sean. The Rams have the better advantage of getting back to the Super Bowl, even though I don't believe either of them will see it again, at least for a while.
All right. I mean, you brought up the Steelers move. They have to figure out their quarterback situation. A team like the Browns, I think, is another team that you have all the talent there. You should make a push to change up quarterbacks. But also, I mean, look at these past 2 seasons. They can figure something out. But also look at these past 2 seasons. Tom Brady coming over to the Bucs, winning his first year. You got Matthew Stafford coming over to the Rams, winning his first year. Joe, is this going to continue to be a trend? Can we see someone like a Russell Wilson or like an Aaron Rodgers go to another team and lead them to a Super Bowl come next season?
Listen, I think it's important for people to understand, right, that the way you got to build the team up is through the draft. However, if, say, you're the Cleveland Browns and you take a look at your team and you're like, man, this defense is good, man. We got weapons with Jarvis Landry, Kareem Hunt, and Chubb, right? And Joku and Hooper. You got all these, and you're looking and you're like, God, what is the glaring problem on this team? Yeah, that son of a bitch, Baker Mayfield. When you're in that situation, yes, you move this guy out, you throw a number one, and you go get one of the good quarterbacks, and you give this thing a try, because again, the window in Cleveland is only going to be about 3 or 4 years for them to be able to keep this team together and make something happen. So to me, that's a team that should go all in, get a quarterback, and see what you can do. I don't think that. So, like, how many people have been like, Giants should go get Russ? No, come on. Great quarterback. This team needs so many other things before you could dream of a quarterback like that. Like, you got to have the pieces. Here's the other thing, and this is something you fellas probably don't understand. Again, me being 100,000 years old. Trades in the NFL never, ever happened. I mean, literally until Bill Belichick became a head coach, trades in the NFL did not happen. That was never, ever. Nobody got traded. It was insane. Okay? So just the concept of going out and making, like, it's a newer thing for the NFL. And don't forget, I mean, free agency's something that happened in my lifetime too. So that whole concept is a newer thing. Okay? Yeah. There's a reason the draft used to be like 25 rounds. You had to put your whole team together with kids. Okay, not the case anymore. But I listen, I don't think everybody should be firing off number one draft picks thinking that that's gonna make your team better. You gotta be so close. You look at the last two teams. It was clear over the last 2 years that the biggest problem the Rams had is Jared Goff's not good enough. That defense was good enough to get them to a Super Bowl a few years back. He just hasn't been able to get them over the hump. It was pretty clear, like with the Bucs the year before, like a good quarterback could take this team far. I don't see there being a team right now who I think has everything. Maybe the Browns, maybe the Titans. A team that should go all in, get a big boy quarterback, and see, because I think they have the pieces. Otherwise, those two teams jump right to mind as teams that I could see doing that. I don't think it's a great idea for other teams, though, generally speaking. I really do think you need to have the team, and you just need the quarterback, because that's what these last two Super Bowl champions have done.
You're right. I'd also put the Vikings and Steelers on that list as well.
I think the Steelers for sure.
Yeah, maybe definitely. Even the Saints.
Maybe
their defense is legit.
They get Michael Thomas
back. Kamara's got stuff going on.
Yeah, that's tough.
Right. Right. So again, things are getting kind of iffy in New Orleans. Peyton, obviously, Sean Payton. Yeah. I mean, it does change the dynamic there, but again, I think someone has to really evaluate things there and decide, how close are we? Because it's sad to watch that Saints team last year and the way they played, because boy, that defense was so good and that offense was so unbelievably bad.
Yeah.
They were good before Jameis Winston got hurt, though.
They were
5-2.
Can we stop beating up on Goff? Wait, I need people to stop beating up on Goff. It's not his fault.
No one's beating up on. We didn't
Matthew Stafford was this close to blowing it so many times, and we all would have had a different narrative on this whole thing. So stop doing that to Goff.
Yeah, Jared Goff put up 3 points in the Super Bowl, though.
Yeah, but
I laughed in the first quarter when it was 13-3 Rams. I thought, wow.
That goes into coaching, also play calling. All
that.
You can't just put that all on Goff.
It's the same coach, though, and he just put up.
And he almost blew it again. And he literally almost blew it again. He was saved by an Aaron Donald sack.
But they put up 20 more points.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. I think this is a good point to transition to our next topic. Daniel Jones might not be the QB to take the Giants to the Super Bowl.
No, he will be.
Listen. But to get there, the Giants don't necessarily need to build a franchise QB. Like we just talked about, I think they need to build a foundation to lure a possible free agent or maybe even make a deal. And if these two high first-round draft picks work this year. That can translate to something that could be promising to start that foundation and maybe, like I said a couple weeks ago, do what the Bengals did. And with this possible competent play calling, get that foundation going and expedite the rebuild process like the Bengals did. So that leads to my next question. Sean, if everything goes right for the Giants, could they find themselves in a position like the Bengals within the next couple years, pushing, possibly getting into the Super Bowl?
Could they? Yes. Is it likely? No. I mean, this team has a lot to work on. They're right now still under the cap. Their offensive line sucks. Andrew Thomas is the only good offensive lineman there. They need help on defense. They don't have any really pass rushers. Azeez Ojulari, I think, could be a good number 2, maybe a 1 if he keeps improving, but you still need a star pass rusher. All their skill guys do not stay healthy. We just gave Kenny Golladay this huge contract to give us 0 touchdowns and like 500 receiving yards. Thanks a lot. And Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard. So this team is still a far ways away. So even if they do get everything right in the next couple of years, it still takes a while because you need to build with your draft picks. You need to supplant that with free agency. And it's not going to be a couple of years till they have money to spend in free agency. It's going to take a couple of years for, these new draft picks to come in and develop. We already have some young pieces that are on the right track with guys like Xavier McKinney, Azeez Ojulari, Andrew Thomas, but we still need a lot more than that. So it could happen. I think it's going to be a longer timeline. Maybe, the next 3 to 4 years would be more realistic because I also do believe in Daniel Jones, but do I believe in him being a Super Bowl quarterback? I don't see it right now. Maybe he shows us something this year, but usually in your first 3 years, you see what you're going to get out of your quarterback. And he has been hurt for most of it. He has had a bad offensive line, and his skill players, like I said, have been injured. But for the most part, we know what we're getting with Daniel Jones. So I think if everything around him is great, I think that he can, take us into the playoffs, maybe make a run. But I don't see him as a Super Bowl winning quarterback right now. I hope he proves me wrong, but so I think it's less likely they can do what the Bengals did this past year. Right away, especially I think down the line, if Joe Shane and Brian Dable build something special here, that we can get there eventually. But I think that we're definitely at least a couple years away from even being in Super Bowl contention, let alone making the playoffs. So
hey, I don't know about that. I think Zay, you're the other optimist with me. But I mean, with all the talent, I mean the Giants have some talent. Health's been the issue these past couple years. They have
keyword some.
Yes, you're right. But
some
also
talent.
play calling. Play calling's been a big issue. You got guys, Wink Martindale's coming in. He's talking about, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to make the blitz. How many times
I do like
we
that
like
hire.
Patrick Graham? We talked a lot of good stuff about Patrick Graham. How many times have we also talked about how he likes to sit in that zone and get picked apart every now and again?
Yeah, I want more blitzing.
Blitzing.
Listen,
man-to-man.
Chase. I mean, you look at a guy like Logan Ryan. I mean, he's one of the best in the league at blitzing, and whenever he would do it, it seemed like he would at least get disruptive in the backfield. Just didn't happen enough.
Yeah, or even a guy
so
like Jabril Peppers.
Yeah,
he was a guy. When he came out of college, he was a utility guy. He could play all over the place.
No.
I mean, now I feel like he's playing more safety. He's one of those guys that can come up into the box and do stuff like that. He's a guy like I think he's very much so like a Troy Polamalu and that stuff, can make the plays up at the line. And not sitting back in his zone doesn't make those. He can't make those plays like that. But we'll see. And also Kafka on the offensive end. Think about how, like, we talk about the Joe Judge making play calls to just not lose rather than win. He's coming from the Chiefs. You talk about gutsy play calling, getting the ball down the field, making plays. I think all things are looking right. But Zay, do you think with this coaching staff and with the talent there is on the Giants, even though it has been banged up, can they expedite the process in this rebuild?
Not a chance. Not a chance. I don't like the fit at all. If I'm being honest, I don't. I don't like the defensive coordinator pick. I honestly think the Giants don't have the corners to be sitting there blitzing. I don't think we have the secondary. We never have. We have a history of safeties that can't cover tight end. We have a history of corners who have issues. We don't even know if we're going to be able to bring Bradbury back with the money situation we have. If we can't restructure him, we might have to find a way to cut him so we can get some money in here. So you're talking about less corners. Our linebackers stink. So now you're talking about putting linebackers in a position where now they have to actually go out there and maybe cover once in a while. I don't like the fit. I don't. I'm sorry. You talk about bringing Kafka in. Yeah, that's great. He was the quarterback's coach. He didn't make the calls. He just basically, worked out with Pat Mahomes every day. We're not bringing, I keep saying this, they're not bringing Pat Mahomes. They're not bringing Josh Allen. None of this is changing. The Giants are the Giants. Their coaching staff, they're not, you may think this is going to be something special. It's not. I'm sorry.
Here's all the reasons why you're wrong. Ready?
Let me finish. I just think this franchise, honestly, is snake bitten. I think it has been since Tom Coughlin has walked out the door. The way he walked out the door, I think it was terrible. And I think the best thing for Patrick Graham was to get out of town because I think he knew something was up. And just because of how bad luck the Giants have had recently, I think the story with the whole coaching and text message will come out to be proved against the Giants just because the type of luck we have. Because the littlest things we do, like hire a coach every 5 years, we find ways to screw that up. I'm telling you now, I don't like the fit. I do think the Giants will be terrible for the next couple of years or so. And it's going to be the same story. I'm sorry. I don't like the fit at all.
I think we're going to see an instant change in the Giants. I think they'll win 7 games in their first season. I think you're going to see just an all around. The culture is actually finally really different.
Yeah.
For the first time ever. And I'll say this, listen, credit to Joe Judge for clearing out the malcontent, but listen, Dable's got the table set up for him. He's brought in coaches from outside of his own world, guys that he knows will be good coaches and not just buddies of his, like Joe Judge did. If you didn't know Joe Judge, you weren't working here, okay? And the Giants love that, because if the Giants don't know you, you're not working here. So for the first time ever, voices, for the first time in 30 years, voices from outside New Jersey are trickling their way into Giant Stadium.
Yeah.
That is something to be celebrated.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter when the word is still coming from up top. You can have all this you want. The word is still going to come from up top, and they're going to still make the decisions that they want to make, and that's why the Giants will continue to be in a position they will be in. It will always be come down to.
Well, how was that different when Coughlin was coach? You think they just let Coughlin have at it? They were as involved then as they are now. I don't honestly, see any difference.
In that situation, the Giants, we lucked up. We weren't supposed to get Eli. We lucked up. There were situations where we just lucked up because we had better luck. Now we just don't have that.
Yeah, we're a luck franchise. Luck's got to swing.
We've seen in the last couple of years. We've lost games we should have won.
That means we're due for some good luck.
65-yard field goal losses and stuff. These things don't happen, but they happen to the Giants.
Zay, can you, honest to God, answer this question? Because this is what it boils down to. Can you possibly see this team being worse? It would be impossible for this team to be worse than what they've been for the last 10 years. Again, let's throw 2016 out the window and let's get serious. This has been going on since 2011. This franchise is a disaster. But again, it's all in-house. Let's just keep it in-house. Do you know that guy? We'll hire him. Now we're like, hey, all right, let's give it a chance, dude.
Dable's still in-house. He's still a Belichick.
It's not what listen.
It's all still in-house.
Belichick hasn't been part of the Giants since the early 90s.
You keep thinking that.
Hey, look, they want you to start a new podcast called Fed Up with the G-Man.
You keep thinking that.
I love it.
My boy.
I'm just because
listen, Zay, even if
you're not wrong, Jay. You're not wrong, Zay.
Hold on. What have we done in the last 5 years to make you feel confident?
Nothing.
Look, this biggest change is what
I just said the last decade. Nothing.
Yes.
Nothing.
Because we're no longer looking for a coach that's in the 80s or the 90s. We're looking for someone that's actually knows how to play football in 2022 and has had success with the Bills. And changing everything up. This isn't the same Giants. That's why there's that hope, Zay. Can this easily turn into the same clown show that it has been the past couple years?
They did blow that coaching thing bad.
I hate to pull the Joe card and sound old, but you're talking to a Giants fan who watched them go through 3 coaches and then go through 6 or 4, whatever the heck it was. This is ridiculous. I've literally had 2 coaches in my Giants lifetime, Fossil and Coughlin. If there was somebody between 92 and 99 or whatever, I don't remember. I was too young. But that's from what I remember is Fossil. And now I've seen 4 coaches in 5 years. What is this? We are a bad franchise now. I hate to say it, but we are a bad franchise. And we have to start admitting that we are a bad franchise. And that's when we'll start to get better.
That is them admitting. They're not good. They're going outside the franchise.
Hold up.
That's
not
them
for nothing.
It's a bad franchise.
I've been saying now for the last 2 years that this franchise, generally speaking, has been garbage. As a lifelong fan, as I pointed out, since 1964, only 19 winning seasons. Okay? That's it.
Well,
19
again,
in 57 years, dude. That
the Cowboys
is
are proving
awful.
that means nothing. The Cowboys are proving that means nothing. But again, I don't like the 1 in 12, the 1 is 15s, the 3 and 12. All these numbers are terrible. I'm okay with a 6-7 game season win. See, I'm okay with that being a bad season for the. If that's a bad. If you tell me 7 game loss, 7 game
that's
one,
why you can only get better.
if you tell me 7 games won is a bad season for the Giants, I'm okay with that. We're at the point where 3 games won is a bad season for the Giants. That's getting hard to watch.
Shannon, I'll address this. Jacksonville's a joke, an absolute joke, as are the Detroit Lions, as are the Houston Texans. So the Giants are not the worst franchise in all of football. There are worse ones, but yes, we are a bad franchise. We don't win consistently. We don't rebuild. The Giants did this again. Think about when Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor went away in 93, for anybody who's old enough to know what I'm talking about. Dude, the Giants, it was 7 years of pathetic, just mediocre, nothing doing. They brought in Kerry Collins. They got blown out in the Super Bowl. And then we're garbage for 4 more years until Eli showed up. Again, it's easy for everybody to look back at Eli and be like, dude, he was so great. Well, I mean, the record was pretty spotty for the most part in there. Okay? It's like 4 or 5 pretty decent seasons. The rest of them were not great. And we know how the end went. There was no plan in place to
the ending really hurt his record with the Giants.
Of course it did. After 2011, and with the exception of that fluke 2016 11-5 season, these guys have been awful. And management has done nothing to fix it at all. And finally, yes, because you know what? For the first time, John Mara is actually listening. He hears the fans are pissed. You remember all season, he was like, I'm pissed too. I kicked a chair. Yeah. That's how pissed he was.
You guys get medium
spun
Pepsis.
Around. Yeah. Medium Pepsis for everybody. This guy understands the fans are done. Like, we're not doing this anymore. And so he finally, for the first time, ventured outside the building, outside of their comfort zone. So I listen, they've got a ton of problems. They've got a ton of holes. I don't think there's any easy solution.
No,
I think, here's the thing. I don't think they're going to get worse.
No,
I don't think it's possible the Giants could get worse next season.
Be pretty tough to do.
The biggest thing that's going to happen, and this works out well contract-wise, is you'll know after this season whether Daniel Jones is worth his weight in salt here, or if this guy's – if they bring in all these guys and it's the same old, then clearly the problem is that guy. And we can finally decide to move on from him.
Yeah. Just it's the start of an actual rebuild, actually learning what's going on. And I mean, we can sit here, we can talk all bad about the Giants forever and ever.
I love the Giants. I don't mean to talk bad about them.
But I mean, we have to. When they're this bad, we have to talk bad about them because they're bad. and we just got to accept that.
Let's
But
all
now-
say one nice thing about the Giants.
Gable's not that short.
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
what to say.
Yeah.
I like their jerseys.
Their jerseys are nice. Yeah.
They actually have the worst jerseys in the league, if I'm being honest. I'm sorry to
No,
say.
they don't.
They're
No, they
plain
don't.
and boring. Like, come on. At this point, we got to do something.
It would be nice if the Giants got a little electric, you know.
Yeah,
do a little
just
something.
one alternate. One
It's
alternate.
bold.
That's
We
all
are-
they need.
Color and enough. Look at Victor Cruz in your background. That's a boring jersey.
That's
Yeah.
It's a nice
No.
picture.
I love it.
It's a nice
That's
picture.
a beautiful jersey.
Nice
That's
picture,
a Super
boring
Bowl
jersey.
winning jersey right there.
That's a
I
boring
always
jersey.
wish the Giants would have zazzed it up a little bit.
That's something.
Just
a
one
little
alternate.
bit.
That's what they need. Just one.
I love the
alternate
red
every now and
jersey. I always
again.
like the
That
red
was-
jersey.
Can we
I-
get the
I
guy from
wore,
Oregon?
I wore my
Can we
Tiki
get the guy
Barber
from
red
Oregon
jersey.
to do
for the Super
jerseys
Bowl.
like once a week or something? Because that guy in Oregon, he's
Oregon,
got
yeah.
something going on.
The,
Whoever that
they
is.
should wear the color rush, the white ones, like 4 times a year, or just make
Yeah,
them
those
your
are-
home uniform.
Or 7
With
the
the
all
old,
white
the old
dress.
Giants logo.
All right,
That's
yeah.
solid.
Let's go. We're getting back on the positive vibes for the
There we
Giants.
go. Yeah.
But
Time for better.
we will let's
Brainstorming.
let's keep it going. But we're gonna take a break, and then we're gonna talk about best Super Bowl moments, not just for the Giants, for just in general, the history of the Super Bowl.
The good old days.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we'll be back right after this, so stay tuned.
Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future homebuyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of homeownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage, an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 2011280L. Call for additional details.
All right, big shout out to AnyMac Mortgage for sponsoring today's episode. Now let's get into it. Sean, I know you got a UConn basketball game to get to, so let's start it off with you. What are your favorite
Hope you ain't
Super
bottle
Bowl
tickets.
moments, both Giants and non-Giants? Go.
I would say something about the Knicks, but Zay knows how bad they are. Anyways, favorite Super Bowl moments for the Giants. I mean, the obvious ones are the Eli throws, so I'll go something a little out of the ordinary. My favorite moment is the Chase Blackburn interception against Robert in front of Robert Gronkowski. It was the start of the fourth quarter. Patriots were getting some momentum driving down the field, and then throws it up a bomb to Rob Gronkowski, and Chase Blackburn, who is kind of underrated player, wasn't known for his coverage whatsoever as a linebacker, but he makes a big play there, and that really shifted the momentum late in that or earlier in that fourth quarter, which led to a Giants victory. So, I mean, the Eli ones are definitely my 1 and 2. The Manningham throw, I think, is the best throw of all time. But yeah, and favorite Super Bowl moment other than that, I'd probably go the Steelers-Cardinals game. Just that whole game in general. I think it was the Super Bowl 45. But it was just a great game overall. Ended with the Santonio Holmes catch. James Harrison with that huge pick six. Larry Fitzgerald had a monster game. So I would go Tom Brady's other loss, but it was against the Eagles. That was the toughest Super Bowl to watch because I hated both those teams. So I'm not going to go with that. So I'll go with Steelers Cardinals because that's probably my favorite Super Bowl game that I've watched. That hasn't included the Giants. So
I like that one. I had the 100-yard pick six by James Harrison on
he had to get the
on
gas
my list
mask
there.
after.
But yeah. But all right, Joe, what are your favorite Super Bowl moments?
He's gonna
Was
go.
the fourth quarter in 1986 Super Bowl 20. Phil Simms to Mark Bavaro, who was double covered. He gets hammered. The ball pops off his helmet and into the hands of the Vietnam veteran Phil McConkey for the touchdown. The greatest moment in New York Giants Super Bowl history. And if it's not that, it's Scott Norwood going wide right. My favorite Super Bowl moment, non-Giants category, the Butler did it. That Malcolm Butler pick at the goal line. I could watch that thing 10,000 times over. I hate the Seahawks. I've always hated the Seahawks.
What?
There's something about that makes me excited.
What? How? You talk about Russell Wilson all the time.
I like Russell Wilson. Don't get me wrong.
Where does your hatred from the Seahawks come from?
The Seahawks were garbage my whole life as a kid.
You weren't a big Steve Largent fan?
I love Steve Largent. Felt bad for him. He was the Barry Sanders of the Seahawks in the early. I mean, it was this all-pro receiver on the worst friggin' team. They were terrible.
What about the Sean Alexander? What about the Sean Alexander years?
Sean Alexander was the 90s, buddy. They had already. That's when the transition to like. I was very
That was like 08, bro.
No, you're wrong.
No, that was near the end of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
they took them to the Super Bowl in 08 or something like that. When they
it
was 05, I think.
Sean Alexander led the league. This man is crazy.
Hold on. You're mistaking your lifetime. You're mistaking your lifetime with my lifetime.
No,
I was
because
alive
I was waiting for you to
through
go.
the 80s
Well,
and 90s.
Super Bowl won in 1955 or something, something like that. That's what I was waiting for Joe to say.
Sean Alexander, 2005. By the way.
2005. There we go.
Thanks,
Somewhere.
Rister.
Was it 90s?
I said that.
Yeah, dude. I was 30
That was
years
like his
old.
last year. though.
I'm sorry. I was only like 12. Excuse me.
All right, Zay, hit us with your favorite Super Bowl moments.
I mean, if it's Giants, we've obviously covered it, but it would definitely have to be the Michael Strahan sack on Tom Brady at the end of the 07 one. That was just great when you knew the game was over and he just flexed afterwards. He's like, it's over. They stomped him out. That whole thing just had a whole vibe to it that whole year. And my non-Giant Super Bowl favorite moment would probably be, this is weird, but when the Colts in Chicago played, I don't remember which year was that, 07, I think it was? 06? 06 that was? Yeah. I'm messing up like the Manning commercial. But when Devin Hester took off the opening kickoff return, it was electric. He had a monster year that year. He took back like 13 punt. You had to watch every punt that Chicago, like they would cut games to go to Chicago when they was doing a punt return because Devin Hester was that electric. And to take it back in the opening of the Super Bowl, which was again the Super Bowl of the greatest halftime performance with Prince and Purple Rain raining it was just everything was perfect about that Super Bowl. I mean, what can I say? So that's probably my favorite Super Bowl moment was probably that opening kickoff and Prince's halftime performance.
I like that. A lot.
That was the Bears' only offense too.
Hey,
it was.
What a time!
Right, Rex Grossman. Yuck.
Rex. Oh, geez, yeah. I feel bad for Brian Urlacher. But all right. All the Giants ones. I mean, the Mario Manning sideline catch. Like that is why I love Daniel Jones so much. I see him make those plays to the sideline, and he puts them in spots where just the guys can have it. Like we saw Eli make, and that little nostalgia there is why I love Daniel Jones as much as I do, and I think he can possibly be the franchise QB for the Giants. But and also, I mean, the helmet catch. I mean, even the Plexico Burris touchdown after that to seal it up. The Ahmad Bradshaw run in the 2011 Super Bowl where he didn't know whether to drop and just stay at the one, but he ended up crossing the plane. So, I mean, yeah, so many great moments. And then you guys all hit basically the big ones I had. Patriots coming back from 28-3 against the Falcons. That's great. Listen.
Old hat for Brady. No one's impressed.
I guess so. But also the onside kick We
the Saints?
The Saints
Yeah,
and
that's a good
the
one.
Colts coming out of the halftime, onside kicks, change things up. Yeah, but yeah, there's so many great Super Bowls and a lot more to come. But I would say, as far as this past one goes, this is one of the greatest. I think honestly that you could argue this has been one of the best just playoffs in general. Every game so close. Anything can go any way, really. And another one is the Philly special. It is the Eagles. But
Stop it. Enough. You're gonna be banned from your own show.
But
listen, the Patriots try to do it, and then Philly's all like, "Nah, hold my beer."
And the Rams tried to do it too.
Yeah,
tried to do it too.
Yikes.
Yeah, but
right. Yeah, we don't mention that Patriots Eagles Super Bowl on this
don't talk
program.
about the Patriots. Why are we even praising them on this show?
Because we beat them, we can. Like they're like the little brother.
That is true.
We're
the only team that has anything against the Patriots.
Yeah, but all right.
We all get the same.
Just wanna mention because of how rare it is, but the Ron Dixon kick return, 97 yards for a touchdown to open up the second half of a Super Bowl. The Giants were getting hammered in.
The only score, right?
The only time the Giants scored in that game, yeah. And I think it's just worth noting because we mentioned pretty much the other Super Bowls and the moments from that game. I thought we should just give a little love to Ron Dixon.
If we go back to 2000, there were a lot of other reasons why they didn't win that game, but let's not go back into it. It would sound petty.
Yeah.
Some missed calls we're not going to get into.
Yeah, but all right. That's going to do it for John about the G-Men. I think we're going to take a couple weeks off here, regroup as the offseason plays out. We'll get back as soon as free agency starts and as the draft build-up continues. But, yeah, that's going to do it from us. Yep.
I just want to throw one more thought out because I know everyone's going to start doing it in the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to just beg everybody now with your freaking mock drafts. Cut it out! Your mock drafts are stupid.
No, they're not.
Free agency first.
The Giants are taking 2 offensive linemen in the first round, according to everyone's mock. What are you talking about?
A center at 7, so that in 5 years they could pay the guy half of. Give me a break. You're not a general manager, okay? Most of those apps, they give you they accept any trade and they throw ludicrous things out there at you. But don't forget, before your mock draft, your team's going to address some issues in free agency, and it will greatly impact who they draft. So if you don't take into consideration free agency, your mock draft is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
just wait till free agency's over.
Last year I had the Giants taking Devontae Smith, and then they got Kenny Golladay, and then I had Michael Parsons, and then we all know what happened.
They should have followed your lead.
Yeah, they should have. But they didn't. But it's a new Dable in New York.
Oh, goodbye.
I love it.
I love that. Again.
Say you want me to do the whole spiel again?
No. Just on off. Terrible.
But that's going to do it for John about the G-Men. I'm Big Jace. That's Joe Aguirre, Sean Scanlon, King Zay. Make sure you check out clovercrestmedia.com for more on this podcast, a bunch of other great sports podcasts. Got a bunch of guys there. Go see what they had to say about the Super Bowl. You got Keys to the City. You saw in the opening, we played that promo. Sports Talk with R&J was live earlier today. And also, if sports isn't your thing, I don't know why you're watching this right now, but make sure you check out one of the great true crime podcasts we got, as well as a political podcast. But
thanks for listening to this hour-long sports podcast to find out there are other options.
Yeah.
Like that basketball one.
Yeah.
Start with a P or
posting up.
something.
Yeah, posting up.
Oh, there you go. That one, yeah. Season's heating up.
All-Star game right around the corner. We'll be talking about that. A bunch of great stuff. But that's going to do it. Make sure you like it on all the Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get it. Make sure you share John about the G-Men, and we'll be back in a couple weeks to talk about free agency and prepare for the draft because this is going to be a big one. 2 first-round picks for the Giants, new GM. Let's hope.
We did this a couple years ago. What are you talking about? Were you not here?
They weren't number 5. They were number 5 and 7 though.
Well, we took Daniel Jones and we took that Dexter Lawrence guy who hasn't been nothing for us. You don't remember that year?
Oh, stop with the Dexter Lawrence. He's fine.
I knew Joe wasn't gonna like that.
No, that guy gets such a bad rap. I mean, come on.
Doesn't do anything.
BJ Hill's in a Super Bowl. I mean, that's why you get a bad rap.
Dude, they were like, BJ Hill. We'll give you BJ Hill. Come on.
Yeah, but
we traded JPP to get BJ Hill on a draft pick, and then we trade him for Billy Price, who sucks. So, thanks a lot, Gettleman, you idiot.
Yeah, but now it's Joe Shane, and let's hope he can ease the pain. But that's gonna do it. We'll see you in a couple weeks for more John about the G-Men. Take care, everyone.
Sanderson looking in, zone for a pass. He's looking for King, intercepted. He's going to go down the right side. Lawrence down to the 20, 30, down to the 40. He might go all the way.
3rd down and 7. Good jump off the line by Strahan, who gets the sack. Pressure from Thomas off the edge. Eli Manning stays on his feet. Airs it out down the field. It is caught by Tyree.
4-man rush. Eli throwing into traffic on the sideline. They're going to rule it a catch by Manning.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All 4 Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting ClovercrestMedia.com.